has embraced the classic strategies of providing jobs and community services such as neighborhood cleanup. That's basically paying your children to clean the neighborhood they live in instead of letting it go to blight like we always do, right? So they understood now the power of the people reclaiming their autonomy, right? So this is why we talking free Larry Hoover now. This very reason, because when he was organizing 21st Century Vote, Vice Lord Stones and GDs and BDs was all working together to raise that shit together, right? And at the same time, they was taking another brother off the streets of Chicago, and we wasn't watching diligently our leadership so we can see who's protecting us from the enemy. Jeff Fort, also known as Abdul Malik Kabah, is an American gangster and former gang leader from Chicago. Ain't that how they paint him? While they doing all the gangster shit though. Watch this. Fort co-founded Black Peakstone Gang and is the founder of his El Rookin faction. Fort is currently serving a 168-year prison sentence after being convicted of conspiracy and weapons charges in 1987 for plotting to commit attacks inside the U.S. in exchange for weapons and $2.5 million from Libya, ordering a murder in 1981 and a conviction for drug trafficking in 83. Right? So he got took off the streets in 81, but he had only been back on the streets like a couple of years from getting out of the youth authority. And he's 3 years older than Larry. So he was also a young man, probably close to 30 when they took him out of circulation. Right? And they got the respect in the community. And I'm going to show y'all Chief Malik Angel Bay, Jeff Fort. Now, this is the same man, when they were shooting brothers in the back in Chicago,
very interesting. She's very connected to nature for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's on your mind today?
I hadn't really, I just have been listening a lot and trying to learn the language, you know, the Knox, and I call it a different language because it's new to me. But
it's actually not new to you. The shit that we've been talking about from since we was little, that's the new shit. The shit I be saying, it's the language of the subconscious mind. I just flip it to the surface so it can make the connections.
Well, I do read your post, and it's interesting. So, and that's helping me. It's helping me somewhat. Yeah, it's helping me somewhat. So me, myself, I'm a service to people. I feel like I am. I'm sort of more like a healer. You know, I'm into herbals and everything like that, and I want to heal people. I want to help people. So I've always been that way all my life. Always taking care of my family and friends or whatever, you know, want them to be in good health. So yeah, right now the thing is herbals, and I know a lot of people do it, but it's important to do because our ancestors did it. So I've been drawn to that since 2012. Nope, I'll take that back. Yeah, it was around 2012, 09, between 09 and 2012. I started getting into the herbs. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So where you calling from?
Ohio, Cincinnati.
Shit, you right down the street.
You
You
in,
about 2.5 hours away.
oh, so you in
No, you
Chicago?
might be about. Nah, I'm in Michigan.
In Michigan. Okay, right. Okay, I know I've heard you speak of Chicago and Michigan. So okay.
Yeah, I was born in Chicago. Grew up between Chicago, Grand Rapids, and Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay.
Pontiac on the other side of Detroit from you.
I've been to Michigan before. And it was during the winter and the snow was like 6, 8 feet. We were snowed in, but my family, they know how to dig their way out of their houses. So it was interesting. That was back in the 70s. But
Yeah,
that was
we used to have
interesting.
big snow back then.
Yeah, early
They
70s.
think this shit that we be having, like the snowstorms we having now, this shit is light compared to what they was in the 70s.
Yeah,
And
especially
we,
here in Michigan or in Detroit, period. Yeah.
yeah, so we used to always have like blizzards 3 feet at a time. All of a sudden now we get inches and people can't drive.
Oh, that's crazy. But you guys used to be able to drive in the blizzards, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mama drove and all that. Look, my mama drove from Grand Rapids to Pontiac one time. It was snowing so hard you couldn't see nothing but white.
Wow.
And
And
then the snow plows had went several times throughout the day, and they got in the middle. You can't even see the cars on the other side because the snow mound is so high.
wow, but instinct guides you. Instinct.
Mm-mm. My mama was a BMF. And I don't mean Black Mafia family. She was a bad motherfucker. Cause
Hmm.
look, my mama drove through a tornado coming from Pontiac to Grand Rapids. The tornado caught the car, spent the car out, and she whipped that motherfucker right back on the road and kept on going.
Wow. Wow, she's divine, huh? She's a very
Mm-hmm.
divine woman.
Yeah. Look, she used to be in the streets before she got into church, right? When she first went to church, she used to go to church when she first started. She still had her kit. She used to call it a kit in her purse. Her kit consisted of a 38, uh, a straight razor, a brick, and a pair of scissors.
Wow.
And she had something for every occasion. She was ready for the drama. But after a while, she took that stuff out. She was like, she don't need it no more because she got a greater protection over her. So,
The ancestors was always with her,
mm-hmm.
protecting her, guiding her actually. Because look what she brought in the world was you. I mean, I've heard you
Yeah.
speak of your mom a lot, and I really enjoy hearing the stories. I really do, and your childhood. And so I do. I'm sub to you for a reason, and I'm so grateful that I came to you. You know, and it's been very interesting to hear uh, metaphysics from a different perspective and a different way of speaking about it.
Right. Because I didn't ever know when I was doing all that studying that I would use it like I use it now. I just didn't want to be no goddamn idiot, no fool, you know. So when my mama just tell me the race don't always go to the swift, sometimes it go to the slow and the steady. And that was her way of telling me to just stay on the path, keep doing what you're doing, don't back down, don't give up, don't quit. Right? So the fight, all of the fight come from my mama, right? And all of the sensibilities, so to speak, come from my father, because my father was a real rational, down to earth, you know, guy. So we used to talk, like he used to have fun picking my brain over Jeopardy. Like, so I come in from work, we watching Jeopardy. Come here, boy. Come here, see if you can answer this question. And then when I answered, he just busts out laughing. Well, you know every goddamn thing, don't you? I'm like, no, Pops, I don't know everything. I just know a lot of stuff. No, you know everything. You know everything. You answer every question I come up with, you got to answer for it. Well, only answers questions that I asked first, because I had to go find the answer for myself. It just so happened you asking me a question that I already asked myself.
Oh, okay.
You know, so most of the time in studying, that's what you find out. Because like when you studying for yourself, you're not trying to pass no tests, and you're not trying to impress no professors. You get a question that's burning your brain, you just go find the answer. But it always gonna take you to something else. That answer gonna take you to a series of questions that's gonna take you to a series of other answers. Right? The one of the most important books I read was Frances Wells and Isis paper, because she introduced me to Dr. Neely Fuller. Dr. Neely Fuller wrote the United Independent Compensatory Code System for breaking the chains of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a step-by-step guide. But when I really blew my mind is when I put the protocols of Zion across from the compensatory code, I realized it was a direct knock on everything they was doing to us. Right? So you had these people running around claiming they God, but they got a preference for skin color, political affiliation, and religious dogma. You ain't no God if you worrying about skin color, political affiliations, and religious dogma. Because a true God would be above all of that bullshit. Because that's what it boils down to. It's bullshit. The true God becomes indifferent. You don't care about it one way or another. Right?
Right, right.
And what happens is over time, you steady getting these grievances presented to you, and you have to answer them. Right? So you hear me on a lot of my old videos, like, you motherfuckers saying you guys, but y'all not doing no God shit. Y'all teaching hate, ignorance, right? Because hate is all it is rooted in ignorance. You can't be informed about something and hate it. You can't. Anything that you hate, you fear. And anything you fear, you don't know shit about it for real. You just think you do. Right? So we do it through the hood. You hear dudes on the corner having menial conversations about the condition, but nobody offers no solutions. Everybody know that we've been oppressed. That's not a secret. Stop wallowing in the oppression and start looking for the exit. It's an exit in this shit. It got to be. Right? So no matter what condition we find ourselves in, there's always an exit strategy that the spirit give you, that if you can read the signs, you can find your way out of it. The hardest thing out of everything for me to accept was the people that was doing this to us look like us.
Right.
I seen it. I knew what I was looking at, but I was like, nah, I gotta be wrong. I got to be wrong. Right then a motherfucker, but I got to be wrong. No, it's them motherfuckers. My feelings is hurt. Right? Because why would somebody that look like us put us through this shit?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because they was trying to take everything that we had coming. The only way they can do that, we got to forfeit our birthright. They tried to use deception to compel us to forfeit our birthright by telling us we not from the land. We organic to this bitch.
Now,
and we had every skin color over here, every hair texture. They got along, and because we got this thing called, when you tribe up, my tribe don't tell your tribe what they can and cannot do within their tribal ranks. That's not our job. We don't go around policing every other tribe. Right? But all of the tribes will work together in a situation like we in now. Like I keep telling the people, the leadership is already united. We just trying to get the word in the grassroots, right? At the fertilizer level. Right? So all of the grass and blades that's laying down need to stand up now. And this is what's gonna bring everything back full circle to us. And this is what the 2/22/2022 Free Larry Hoover hashtag Cyber Parade is about. Because when it's sufficient enough for us to understand who we are, we ain't come on no ships, and we know who the enemy is, right? They told us we was Moors so they can blanket themselves under the same canopy as us.
Okay.
We didn't use the word Moor. We used the word Amaru.
Okay. Okay.
So when you translate Amaru into English, now it's translated as Moor.
Oh, okay. That was
So now all of the clans think they Moors, because when you pull up Moor and you go up under, you start pulling up tribes. That's not us. That's them stealing our birthright in real time. You seeing it with your own eyes when you looking at it.
Papa Bull. The right?
Right.
Correct?
The Papal Bull was to seize the souls of the people of the earth by declaring that they was incompetent to function and to administer their own estates and their own affairs. Right? That was what the Pope did. It was a series of them in the 1300s. The reason he did that is because what's going on in Europe at the time, see, we don't know world history, we barely know American history. Mm-hmm. But if you go to Europe, look up European history, what was going on between 735 and 1611, 1612, when they finally got the stronghold of the Etruscans broke and kicked them out. When they kicked them out, they was already invested in coming over here to steal our shit. And that's why Columbus was scouting our land out and assessing the people in the land, because we the type of people that if one of us gonna eat, we are gonna eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit there and eat in front of a house full of kids and not feed them.
No, that's wrong.
Right? So now under patriarchy, you got guys having a full tantrum because the woman feed the children first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing with me is I'm gonna eat when the babies get done eating. And I don't expect my plate before all the kids is fed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already know that once the babies is fed, if it ain't nothing left, I can go get it on my own. They can't. You know, so I never put a pressure on a woman to feed me before she feed the children, because I know how to feed me. But all of these patriarchal, testosterone-driven sociopathic males that they call narcissistic believe that they supposed to get the first plate. And I be looking at them like, okay, well, that's as long as your lady tolerate that, that's cool with you and her. But in my house, my kids eating first, or we gonna eat at the same time.
My father was the same way. He always made sure we had our food first.
Yeah, because if you run out of food in the house, like let's say you got 10 children. My mama had 6 of us in the house, and then she had 4 of my nieces and nephews with us. Right? Then we had cousins come through, stay from time to time. But mama always fed the babies first. I remember days my mama didn't have nothing to eat after we got done eating, and so she suck on the bones. Right? A lot of us don't remember the sacrifices my mother made. I remember that shit. I remember her stealing us shoes, but she wouldn't steal none for herself. Mm-hmm. She wore the same 2 pair. She had a pair of boots for the winter, and she had a pair of sandals for the summer. Same 2 she had from like 73 to 78. I remember she had me nailing the heel back onto her sandals and her boots. But we got shoes. Mama don't got no shoes, but we got shoes. Right? That do something to a child that's attentive. Everybody's not attentive,